Eric,
Yeah.
Eric, do you like Wendy's?
Ask Rick.
Rick, do you like Wendy's?
I've only ever known him to like one Wendy.
You're kind of a food guy. Do you like Wendy's?
Yes.
You're gonna love Wendy's nuts hit your mouth.
You dumb
And we're
fuck.
back.
And got his ass.
Yes, we are back. Black again. So Rick and I were just talking about some probably some relatable content before this. So before we jump into our topics for this evening,
Fill me in.
I'll fill you up.
Ooh, that's my name. Don't wear it out.
No, but we were talking about, just daily struggles of existing these days and like making them for my personal experience, like I don't need to put personal, my experience, that I've made the most money I've ever made in my entire life this year, and I am coming out negative. Like it's not a fun. I didn't expect to like even make this much money, but now that I've broke it, and I'm not gonna. I mean, it's nothing like astronomical, right? I mean, we're still in the 2 digits. What is it? Not 2 digits, 5 digits. Right?
Five figures.
5 figures.
Made $16.
Yeah.
The 2 digits. I made $49 this year, guys. Is that good?
No, but I made the most. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm fucking. Somebody stole money from my account, $152, and it sunk me. Like I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for my gym membership and all that shit? Not that I'm going, but
You're a donor.
yeah, that's right, baby.
We call you a donor member.
I've actually been going the last 2 weeks. I've been going like super early in the morning, and gotta say, not into it still. Anyway, but so
you got to carry the boats, Eric. Carry the boats,
dude. That's right. Stay hard. So it's just like the economy. Like Rick was saying too, he had some shit happen to him, and he said he felt like he had 80 people in his pockets. Like I couldn't have related more to anything else. It's like all these subscriptions, all this shit. Like I go online and I research something, and all of a sudden I'm subscribed to 18 different things in Brazzers.com. It's just like one of those things where it sneaks up on you. Yeah, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, they had that sale for Black Friday.
That's right. That's right.
You got to get in.
Ebony Friday.
God bless them.
Anyway, is that
I found my next search for tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh shit. Well,
you
never
can
mind.
search. You
Can't
can
search it on Thursday.
You can crank it on a Thursday, right?
You're goddamn right. I don't even work tomorrow. I don't hardly have shit to do.
You don't work tomorrow?
Better fap.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't work. Better rub one out.
That's what I do. No, sorry.
Hell
That's
yeah,
not
brother.
what I do. I said too much.
Don't fire me.
So I don't know. That's why I said, so it's like relatable content, I would say, or like relatable life living is kind of what I was talking about here. I'm kind of in a mood today, just based on the fact that, the company I work for is run by a bunch of fucking morons. And then also I am one, and I'm part of the problem. And it's a matter of fact, like I can't look at it optimistically anymore. And that goes along with the country, the company, and my fucking
world.
Yeah, everything sucks. That's the title of this podcast, by the way. Everything's going to suck. Everything sucks.
Well, I kind of wanted to iterate my story, what happened to me today a little bit. Give a little context as to why I said I had not 80 people in my pocket, but like 80 fucking hands taking money out of my fucking pocket.
Like 4 guys in my ass.
Right. A couple of dicks in there too.
5's a crowd.
The minivan.
I got a flurry of fucking emails this morning saying that, hey, your PayPal, you just added an email. Hey, your email's changed. Hey, you just started a new account. Hey, you have a suspicious activity on your PayPal. We're going to limit it. It's like, what the fuck? So I logged into my account, and some asshole's fucking email was sitting where mine was supposed to be. And they had started a whole new PayPal with my email, and you're only allowed to have one associated to one email. And so I had to call it in, call them and wait on the phone for a fucking hour and battle their fucking automated caller bullshit. And I got it all situated finally, but it's like as I was going through it, I saw that I had like subscriptions coming out of there that for months that like one was legit, and there was a couple other ones too that weren't. And the one that was legit, I only just wanted to buy the one thing. I didn't want to subscribe to it. So I found out I've been giving fucking $30 a month away, not even knowing it. And that's why my pocketbook felt a little lighter the last couple months. But it's like, yeah, it just it's so fucking frustrating, especially like someone's trying to steal my shit, and it's like I barely have anything to pay for my own stuff. Why are you trying to steal from me? I don't got anything to give you.
Yeah, if they just would like do a little research, sing a little song, get down tonight with it. Like if they could understand exactly who they're trying to hack, like come on, man, you don't want to.
Well, the thing is, they don't care though. Like they'll take the fucking $10 you have and run away.
Yeah, but if I were a hacker and if I had some pride in my work, I would want to go for the big cash cow, and that's not Joe Schmuckatelli who works a 9 to 5 and hates his life and drinks coffee for fun. That's not the guy I'm going to hack. I'm going after fucking upper management ass clown who I don't know. But my point is like come on, man, like stop fucking doing this shit. And if you're a hacker, because I mean, I've dealt with this too, not necessarily financially, well, outside of what I just said, but like on Instagram, you guys saw that. Fucking all of a sudden, I'm posting.
Oh yeah.
What does chuba chuba mean?
Yeah. Does a chuba? I was the one that caught that motherfucker red-handed. He didn't know shit about a chuba chuba. Fucking cocksucker.
Zach is better than all state identity protection right there.
Right?
Say chuba
Fucking
chuba
right,
again, motherfucker.
You could fucking hire me out. Just give me a passphrase that I'll fucking start screaming at these hackers.
What does it mean?
What the fuck is a chuba chuba?
Hey, you asked me what a chuba chuba is. What the fuck?
You guys ever deal with this? Yeah. So for one thing, so hackers, and we all hate them. And if you're a hacker and you're for one thing, so this goes down to like a basic level too. Like if you're not stealing from somebody outside of like, if you're hacking in, let's say, a video game like Call of Duty, all the old Call of Duty games now where Call of Duty just kind of goes, oh, that sucks. I guess we'll just make a new one with better patches. And they'll pump out this fucking game every time. People pay $70 for garbage. But then the older games fall victim to like, well, I like the map. I like playing with my friends on this specific thing. And also we got this guy floating in the air and just, murking everybody. They're the worst kind of person. So that tier is elevated when somebody hacks somebody financially or like robs them of that account. Like I had some shit on that Instagram account that I had that I kind of wanted to, reference in a couple of years or like go back and see. And now I don't have that opportunity. Somebody stole that from me. And it's just such a fucking wild environment that we live in. And I also want to touch on like, I love when people will post videos of like when they're on the phone with a hacker and they'll go through the script with them and they'll kind of play along and they'll give them fake information and the hacker starts getting pissed. And it's one of my favorite things. It literally gives me a hate boner. Like it makes me more excited than waking up every morning.
Oh, dude, I gotta send you. I'll send you. Remind me. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I always have to look it up because it's a weird username. But there's a guy who like that's his entire page. Is like he plays along with scammers and kind of fucks around with them. But like half the time, like a bunch of the videos I see is he ends up stealing shit from the scammer. Like
That's
he
awesome.
steals shit back, or like there's one where he shut down like the entire operation. Like he shut down an entire call center because like this dude, like he knows what kind of hacking they're doing or like how exactly these things play out to, the normal old lady that they call and go like, hey, like you need to give me like $300 in Target gift cards or we're going to shut your heat off. They do their like social engineering bullshit. And, then they have fake web pages set up, like all this other bullshit, whatever. And this guy like knows how to get in there and shut that shit off and not get played and usually shut their shit down. And it's super funny. Like also the guy is just hilarious. Like as he's playing along, he's just like laughing his ass off at how like fucking smooth brained half these. The problem is a lot of people that like hack you or take your shit. They're not all like it's not the computer nerd in their basement that has like 15 computers and like the Matrix shit is scrolling on all of his fucking 10 screens. He's just like chicka 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 chicka, like going to town. it's some dude from like fucking, I don't know, India or like South America or like fucking Mexico that calls you and just goes like, yeah, hi, this is Comcast, and if you don't give me $6,000 in fucking iTunes gift cards, we're gonna come and fuck your dog in front of your eyes. And people just like fall victim to it, like they just fall prey to the most of that, like hacking, most theft of accounts or of information or anything like that is basically freely handed over. It's social
Right.
engineering. That's honestly a huge part of it. And then, yeah, like your PayPal gets hacked and people, like your email address gets compromised and people buy it, all that type of shit too. And, uh, that's, you got to have good passwords because most people probably just brute force your password, I mean, whatever. But yeah, it's mostly social engineering, honestly, which is kind of wild, uh, as a way of stealing. You got to have some balls to try and socially engineer some motherfuckers, but also it shows that motherfuckers are dumb in general.
Yeah, and I mean you can put them in line too with like just like good salesmen, basically, right? Like they're basically cold calling you, and what they're selling is bullshit, like complete bullshit, but they have to, they have to sell it to you. And honestly, what they should do, and by they I mean somebody else other than me, like create a movie or like a parody of Robin Hood, and it's just like you said, that hacker stealing money from, or not the hacker, but that gentleman stealing money from hackers, and like finding out who they are and giving it back to the poor people or like average
Oh, dude,
people
I'd
who
watch the
are,
shit out of that.
yeah, no,
I'd
that'd be
watch the shit out of that.
that'd be a good one, right? But so, not to start the podcast off negatively, but that's kind of where our mindsets are. Because Rick, like you said, you just dealt with that recently today, and me, that was Thanksgiving weekend. Some fuck face, probably a snot nosed kid hitting okay on a goddamn Roku remote too many times, bought a Disney subscription and fucked me hard, no spit. So
Hmm.
that's how I felt.
Man, I'm just kind of poor in general, but I'm used to it, so it's fine. Like whatever. It is what it is. I don't give a shit. I'm just tired, boys. It's been I got man, okay, so I'll bitch about my one thing, but it's kind of funny. Or like I'm starting to laugh about it. So it's I got, finals and I got a final projects and stuff to do. And like, man, yesterday I had to present a final project and I was pretty proud of this bad boy. It's like it's a whole group effort, and like Murphy's Law came and like hit me upside the fucking head, but I think it also hit a bunch of other groups because I watched a couple other groups present their shit. I'm gonna watch a couple more groups tomorrow to finish up class. And dude, I tell you what, man, so usually when you do a presentation, right, you kind of present the entire thing and then take questions at the end. And that's just the flow, right? That's just the vibe. And that's the way it's been for like my whole life. This teacher, or like this professor, I guess, he went in on everyone. Like he would cut you off partway through your presentation as you're showing your application and be like, hey, no, hey, like enter this in this field and show me what it does. So like it does a lot of things. Like it throws you off course.
Hmm.
So now you kind of don't know where you're at. You got to make sure you're doing what he's asking you to do. And then you don't know how to come back. But also, like, so let's say like one thing that happened to me was I entered incorrect information in a field intentionally to see what would happen. And then no error message popped up. And he's like, well, there should be an error message there. And I'm like, well, we didn't know that this was a requirement. Like, we didn't know we had to go through all this like usability testing on this fucking application. We thought it was just like, hey, like have it interact with a database, full stop. That was it. So there's a lot of stuff like that. I think every group has so far has gotten fucked by that. But like he grilled one girl so fucking hard that she just like stopped talking for 30 seconds and apparently started crying at some point.
Jesus.
Like, but I wasn't paying attention because a lot of stuff went wrong with our thing. And long story short, I was trying to download and make the code run on my computer just so I could show everyone and just so I could present this goddamn project. I had to make sure and like I had the most up to date files and all this shit. And I was like scrambling to like download it off GitHub and all this crap. Just freaking out. So that was all going on. I told my group when it was over, like I was messaging them in a Discord that we have together. And I was like, guys, I don't usually get that flustered. Like, I'm really fucking sorry. But he was like, I was like, literally, and this is not exaggerating, the last time I got sweat as hard as this dude was fucking sweating me, was literally by a police officer. Like it was by a cop and crimes had been committed. Like was literally the last time. I'm like, bro, holy shit. Like this guy was giving me both hands, buy one, get one free. Yeah, it was rough. But now I'm too tired to care. I'm going on like no sleep in the last 2 weeks. So if I just tip over, just like, I don't know, call me or something, I'll wake up. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm drinking really strong whiskey to stay awake. This shit's gnarly. It's good though.
I don't think so. So I don't think booze does that.
Let him have it.
All right. Hey, man, you earned it.
Hey, Eric, let me cook. This is 120 proof shit. So every time I take a sip, it feels like my whole throat's on fire. So just let me cook.
I would say
That's how it keeps him awake.
if you do that with a
Yeah.
cigar, that's one of the best feelings because then you feel it right in your fucking lungs and your esophagus. It's the best.
I never done the cigar and a whiskey thing, but I should. My buddy brought like they were like tiny Okay, so they're like, this is gonna sound like the dumbest description, but I hope you it was like a cigarette-sized cigar,
Cigarillo. Yeah.
but it was like really small. Like it was the smallest one I'd ever seen in my life. It was super
Chode.
tiny, basically. And they were from Mexico. And that shit slapped actually. I was surprised. Like usually I'm not into that stuff, but I was like, like fuck it, I'll give it a shot, whatever. And it was actually pretty solid. Like it wasn't
Were-
bad.
Was it
So
hard to like suck, like kind of like puff? Sorry.
nothing's hard to suck for me. No, well, what sucked was it was impossible to keep the fucker lit because there was like 90-mile-an-hour fucking wind outside. But I don't know. I guess it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad to suck.
Okay. Well, I guess that was just mine. He was nervous. I think that
Or were
so
you
going
nervous
go,
first time?
going back to your college fuckface douchebag, I cannot stand when people who think they have this much authority over somebody else interrupt you, and especially in a presentation format. Like it's a presentation. At one point in time, do we become apes and just start throwing our shit at somebody when, I have an opinion on this, what you're saying, and I'm going to stop you mid-course, even though I very well could answer that fucking question that you're about to ask me, you dumb, like you said, smooth-brained son of a bitch. Like, just give me a chance. Like you said, let me
Yeah.
cook. I'm fucking cooking. Don't pour water on the fire, right? So,
Yeah,
Zach, you should have shit in your hand and thrown it at him.
yeah.
Well, the problem is it's remote, so I would have just thrown shit at my computer screen. It wouldn't have
You still
worked
would have
so
made your
good.
point.
Not even,
It's not about the fact I have to clean shit off my desk.
dude, that's even fucking worse is remote because you don't really have that like social interaction to kind of be like, your body, like you could very well mask your body language when you're like, dude, this guy's out of line. You probably could, because all we see is like the shoulders up, right? Probably if it's live. Otherwise it could be just on a computer screen, sharing screen. But this happened to me at work a couple weeks ago actually, and I think maybe I talked about this already, but I'm on the bottom of a totem pole when it comes to like my profession. So it's HR. I'm a coordinator.
Power bottom.
I'm a coordinator. There's like an assistant below me, and then like generalists and whatnot. So I'm kind of in that like beginning career stage kind of position. And there's a supervisor, HR supervisor above me, and then it goes manager, right? And there's some others in between there. But in our office, we only have 4 people. We have a coordinator, a supervisor, and a manager, and 2 of us are coordinators. That makes 4. That's math. So what we have, and I had to present on something that was a project of mine, and the project was I'm going to go through all the benefits for our employees. We work in a big factory, right? And I have to basically remind people, hey, don't leave. It's still good here. Like, here's everything that you probably forgot about with the economy. But here's one thing that we do right is our benefits. And so I had to present this to our small group with our small group of our HR team and say, hey, here, everybody, here's what I'm working on. Here's the plan. Here's the mission statement. Here's the goal. Here's what I want to have happen from it. And immediately I'm interrupted by the supervisor. Like I said, that little authority that they potentially have, they're going to maximize it, and they're going to humiliate you in front of everybody. And then, so she starts asking me these questions that are like, did you think about this? Did you do this? What's your scope? What's your mission statement? I said, I'm going to get there. Just give me a second. I was kind of like, okay, maybe she's coming from another meeting where she's heated or whatnot. So her guard is down, but I'm just like, respectfully, I'm going to keep going, and hopefully I'll answer the questions. Ask me at the end. And I'm going through it, and then she stops me and said, did you think about this scope? Like, did you really think about it? And I go, yeah, my target audience is production workers who need to know about benefits. And here's the plan. And she goes, oh, so you half-ass thought about that? That's good. That's good at least. So she said half-ass in front of the rest of my team. And I'm like, and
Jesus.
like you said, I'm starting to sweat, dude. Like I'm a whore in church. Like, okay, first time back, still can burp up some nut from last night. Like that's how I feel in church. Anyway,
Jesus.
so
My
I got
tummy's
this
full.
so I got this fucking asshole, and I'm not gonna call her a bitch because she is, but I'm not gonna call her one because any woman in a professional field that's higher than you, it's a cliche that you call them a bitch and you call a man assertive, whatever. But this girl's a cunt, and so she's fucking. So she's asking me all these questions. I'm sure I'll edit the shit out of this later, so don't worry about it. But
She's a pleasant, wonderful person.
she's asking me these questions, and I'm like looking at my manager who's above her, and him and I have the chemistry. Like we're okay, we're good. He's like, yeah, this is good, this is good. And I'm like looking at him for like, hey man, can you like step in and do your job and get your bitch in line? And he very much is just kind of like stoic, didn't say much, kind of like looking at me. And then later, like I talked to him later about it. I'm like, dude, what the hell happened in there? And he goes, yeah, she was a little out of line. I'm like, yeah, say something next time.
Where were you?
Yeah. So I
Come on, coach.
dude,
Fuck.
this blew up, and I blew it up out of proportion because this isn't the first time. This was like a first thing. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make an example of this. I want to be heard. I'm tired of this shit. And so I talked to my manager. We sat in a room together. I said, if you're gonna and I talked to Rick about this too. So half of what I'm gonna say is kind of paraphrasing what he told me to say, but he basically said the questions that you asked me weren't in good faith. Like you weren't asking the questions because you were curious. You were asking the questions that put me on the spot and embarrass me. And
Right.
that's exactly what you did. And that has no business being in a professional presentation style meeting. You're supposed to sit there, listen, ask questions at the end, like a goddamn good little fucking worker bee that you are. That's like rule number 1 in college. Presentation skills. Listen.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and listen. It's not about you. It's about me and my project. It will be about you when you're working on something and I sit there and I'll be quiet. It's respect.
And I want to point out the fact too, like what would happen if you did the same thing to her when she was presenting? She'd burn the fucking plant down, right? Like there'd be no fucking end she wouldn't go to make sure you were punished for that.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the difference. Like
Yeah.
you're just supposed to sit there and take it, and because she's in a position of authority over you, or somewhat, or adjacent, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, she just has this. She just goes on these fucking power trips, and it just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like it's not about sexism or whatever. Like if a guy was doing that, girl, whoever the fuck, don't pull that shit. That's not a good person to have, especially in HR. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of it's just ironic at the end of the day. So we have the meeting, whatever, and we sit down, and I'm kind of like caught off guard a little bit because my boss called me in his office, and I said, hey, we should do this. He goes, okay, we're going to do it right now. And I go, all right, I guess we are. I'm not going to balk at it because this is an issue, right? The sooner the better to solve it. So we're talking about it, and there have been other times where she like yelled at the other coordinator in front of everybody, like legitimately yelled and shit like that. So she's just very much on like a power trip, kind of ask. And the thing is, what sucks the most is that she's really good at her job. So it's kind of like, oh, you can't really like, you don't want her out because she, brings a lot of good, but as a team dynamic, like she's ruining it. And so at the end of the day, I told her, we kind of resolved the issue. She said, well, I don't even remember saying half-ass. And I'm like, you said it 3 fucking times. Like you said it 3 times. And you're only saying that because I'm calling you out on it. So at the end of it, I said, so we called the other coordinator in. It was us 4. My boss basically said, some things happen. We resolved the issue. It was awkward there for a couple days, but now we're good to go. And then everybody left, and I said, you know what? I want to talk to you in private, problem child. So I'm like, let's shut the door. Let's have a one-on-one here. And I said, I just want to say this. Like, I respect everything that you have, that I've learned from you, everything that you bring to the team. I just think that sometimes that you can, you can, the way you present yourself or the way you present what you're going to say is very much out of line. And I just wanted to make that clear. Like, I don't think of you any less. I just want you to know that what you did in that moment was really wrong, and that moving forward, you should never do that again. And again, I just want to say I respect your, your position. I respect what you bring and all that shit. And all she had to say was, okay. I was like, ah, man. All right. So no resolution. So you got nothing else. She goes, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But all right. Is that it? I go, yeah, that's it. And I just laughed. I was like, this is as far as it's going to go.
Just the least personal HR person, or
Dude,
like
she's so bad.
personable.
She's so fucking bad.
That's trash, dude. I feel like if you're gonna be in a HR position, the first word of HR is human, and your job is to interact with other humans a lot and to resolve problems between humans. And so you should probably have some sort of skills with fucking humans. Like
We're just
it
talking to
sounds like
him.
she just has zero. Yeah, like I mean that's no, that's wild. I mean, I don't know. And I think some people have a lot of trouble taking responsibility for their actions and things they do, like whether they think they're wrong or not, or know that they're wrong or not. A lot of people I think just kind of want to go, okay, yep, and I'm gonna pretend this never happened because it's easier that way. But really it fucking isn't. Like if you're an asshole, just be like, yeah, man, like I was being an asshole.
She's bordering on Trump's level of that's not my fault. Like,
I
Not
would
my
say
fucking problem.
definitely agree with that. Yeah. And I don't really want to, I didn't mean to like take the what's going on with you with that you just dealt with like today, but it just like struck a chord with me. I'm like, dude, I've been there, and probably it's way worse like in your shoes because like this is the guy that's going to grade you at the end of the day. Like your
right.
potentially your whole career and life after this could be affected by if this guy wants to
Oh,
be a dick
he's
or
my advisor, dude. He's the one
not.
advising me through my courses. Yeah,
Of course he is.
he's rough. Well, and it was wild because I basically had two projects side by side that were exactly the same. Build a front end of an application that interfaces with the database on the back end of an application, and present it, right? And it was just kind of like, as long as it does that, I don't care what your application's about. It can be about like fucking counting Oreos. I don't fucking care, like whatever. And so in my first presentation, which went well, professor sat through the whole thing. I presented everything and I went, all right, man, like, do you have any questions, whatever. And then he politely walked through, hey, like, could you just try this for me? Like, I just want to see what this does. I'm like, yeah, sure. And we tried a few things and there were a few issues. Of course, it's not the cleanest thing. Like, this shit is not for release, right? Like I made the ugliest goddamn website known to man for one of these projects. Like, is fucking gross. But I made it and it kind of works. But yeah, this other one, I mean, dude, interrupting someone halfway through, I mean, like you said, like maybe I answered the question or would have answered the question partway through. Just having some just having that little bit of sort of a gentler touch, I think, could be a big deal. You know what I mean? I mean, especially like as a you're a teacher and these are students and not all of us know anything about anything. So you might end up seeing some of the shittiest presentations possible, you know? Just some people don't know how to fucking make stuff yet. Well, one person in one of my groups, day one, of this project, we all meet. There was three of us in the one group, and we all meet. And she goes, "Yeah, so are we supposed to like code?" Like write code and like make something? I'm like, yeah, that's literally the whole thing. Like we design it and build it and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, well, I don't really know how to code. And I'm like, you had to learn to get to this class. What the fuck do you mean? Did you just like shovel it out of your brain or something? Like you literally have to take computer science courses to get into this. I'm like, I don't know what to fuck tell you. I don't know what you thought this was then. Like, I don't know what degree you think you're in. If you're like 2 years in and you don't think you have to write code yet, like, when did you think we were gonna start, motherfucker? So yeah, it was wild ride. College is a wild ride when you're fucking 30.
That's the other crazy thing or thing I would say too is you have to respect the power that you have over someone, and not just like in the moment, like what Eric said. Their whole future is in your hands. How petty are you going to get about the type of shit that you're grading them on when all of their efforts could be ruined by what you do to them? I don't think enough professors take that into account, especially the amount of money you're paying them.
Yeah.
It's like, if I don't know this, it's your fucking fault.
Well, that's kind of thing. This guy's teaching
To a
style,
point.
the one is less teachy and more kind of read off the book kind of thing. So his lectures weren't super handy. And like you're gonna get those, like people that just don't know how to teach. Maybe this dude was an awesome developer, maybe not. I don't fucking know. I don't know what drove him into to academia, whatever. But the thing of it is, man, is like you're gonna give people who are just learning this content. I mean, I think we had a solid 8 weeks to build this, right? But even still, you're giving us 8 weeks and you want us to build something like an application with like all sorts of functionalities, error messages, fucking that are useful and different things for the user. Like all this, considering all these different edge cases and stuff. It's like the point of this project is to learn, right? Like when I built this, I didn't think like, yes, I'm gonna build this and I'm gonna start a fucking business with this goddamn thing and I'm gonna like I'm gonna release it to the public for anyone to use. Like, no, it's for a course where I'm learning how to do stuff. Like it's not going to be perfect. And I mean, there were other like intergroup issues with this project and shit too, which I know isn't an excuse. And like, I just need to hold the L for some of it. But also like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you engineer something, you get a set of requirements, a very specific set of requirements generally. Like, these are the things that need to happen. And I didn't get that. we got we need you to build a database system with a graphic user interface to interface with your database. That was what I got. So that's what we built. It was very bare bones. It did, we didn't realize like, oh, you need to have all this like shit for the user to like see this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe we should have assumed it, but like I don't think you should have to assume.
If you call him on that, the only thing that's going to happen is your grade will fucking suffer because his pride
Right.
will be
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. I'm better not saying anything. And then too, like I don't know if we're graded on the presentation and how the presentation goes, but if we are, I don't know, man. I consider myself a pretty solid public speaker. It doesn't bother me. Doing presentations does not bother me, especially like when I know the topic or I know the subject well. I do a pretty good job, like as far as the actual interacting, presenting, blah 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 type of shit. And I will answer tough questions. I'm willing to field like throw me your hardballs, man. I don't care, but god damn it, like I was getting fucking grilled, man. Like it's like, bro, just let me fucking finish. And then if you want to grill the shit out of this whole thing, that's fine. But it was also clear that but then it was like it was clear we were having problems because I don't think anyone was prepared to like actually pull up their interface and show how it worked. Because everyone was coming with like everyone had just screenshots prepared or like a video demonstration prepared. Like no one was ready to pull that shit up and start going to town. So I'm sitting here like, dude, I literally just downloaded this shit and made sure it worked on my computer in the 15 minutes while the first group was doing it. And I had some problems making it run because like stuff wasn't hooking up the way it was supposed to. It's like it was all fucked up and I'm having to like change the code halfway through to like and it was a fucking disaster and I hated it. So I was flustered walking in the door here, but yeah, I don't know. It was wild. I mean, I'll be ready next time because I'll definitely have this professor again and again. But um, yeah, it was harsh. Again, at this point, I just fucking laugh it off because, like, I don't know, man. Like the way things go, as long as I do okay in school and like bust my ass, within 5 years, I'll be making fucking twice what that dude makes teaching at St. Cloud State. So, like, whatever, man.
I think too, and a silver lining too, while we're wrapping up here, that a good benchmark would be like you weren't alone as far as that. Like you can find some solidarity with your cohort there. Like, I wasn't the only one getting barraged at the end or during my presentation, so there's no way that I'm going to A, get the worst grade, or B, I'm not going to be the only one, the standalone bad grade if there is a bad grade. I'm sure with everybody the way he was doing it. And the thing about it too is you kind of want to go into it thinking, okay, there's a reason why he's putting this pressure on me. Like there's a reason why he's asking me these questions in front of everybody, because either he knows like in the future this is going to happen, or he's just a dick and he wants to see how you perform. But there's got to be an ulterior motive other than just like him being unaware that he's not supposed to be doing that. Like that's not his
Yeah.
role in that moment. So
On the plus side, I learned a lot between these two projects. I learned a shitload about stuff like that and a shitload about how to lead a team and how to work as a part of a team and like my weaknesses when I work in a team or when I'm leading a team. Um, yeah, yeah, it was. I think it was good for me overall, anyway. So
yeah, and so that's fun. So you got that to look forward to. That's your advisors, and you got certain more classes. And then I know my concern with my issue was, hey, this lady could be the one getting calls when I want a promotion, or if I'm applying to other jobs. She's going to
Mm.
be the one they're going to talk to, and if she already has a low opinion on me to begin with, it's not going to get any better in the short term. In which case, I'm not planning on being under her for very long. Giggity. So moving forward here, though, so we have so we can kind of see this happening more and more, and this kind of goes back to our old podcasts that we've talked about, with like almost like a sense of entitlement, superiority complex, and we see that more and more. And I'll stand on this and I'll die on this hill. Since Trump's been in office and out of office, we've seen that more and more with people that probably shouldn't have a superiority complex. Not that anybody really should, but like, at some point in time, let other people cook, right? I'm not going to keep leaning on that expression. Like
Let them cook.
if you're going to be, we see the entitlement, we see like people that shouldn't be cooking in the kitchen, and they're ones, typing in all caps on Facebook and getting in arguments. And like I said, so this, I think it's just something that I need to stop being, and I was talking to Rick about this, overly optimistic about humanity, and especially in the United States. Like, a lot of people are being dicks, and there's no reason to be dicks anymore. I just recently too, and it might have caught me in a vulnerable moment. I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little bit the other day when I saw this video, but it's about this young gentleman with I don't know the disease, but it's OH, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But basically, what happens is his bones are super brittle. So what he decided to do, this kid, and I, God, his name's Kevin, I guess is the best information I can give you. He's on Instagram and TikTok. So if you see him out there, follow him and love that dude up. But I saw this video when I was eating my eggs in the morning after the gym. Shout out to the gym again. And I was watching this video, and this kid started a social media personality because he's like, okay, I can't go outside and play. I'm not a normal kid. Like, I'm going to like have fun with people virtually, basically, because I can't do it physically, because I just can't. And his parents are super supportive. They're helping him make the videos and whatnot. He's got merch, planning on buying a cup from him pretty quick here. But the point is, like he took his life, and he could have been like a whiny bitch about it. And this kid's like 8 years old, right? So like, it is what it is at this point. But he decided to be like, you know what, I'm going to A, raise awareness for this disease, and then B, try to be a normal kid virtually. And he just got absolutely obliterated in the comments, as far as like Instagram goes, like
Jesus.
just tearing him apart. People trying, and the thing is, like, I get, like, you put anything out on social media, and I'm sure we're a victim of it too. Like, you expect a certain level of, people are just going to dog on you because you're new and different, and this is something that you can get a cheap laugh for if you make fun of it. But
Really?
what I would say, so I like trolls out there, like people just like you, like basically the entire Republican Party on social media, just
Do it
trying to
for
upset
sport.
people.
It's
Yeah.
a fucking sport to these assholes.
And so but the thing is, so I can understand that to a degree, maybe not necessarily for like a kid that's just trying to live life, trying to have fun. Like, let them have, it's a kid, right? But then trying to get their account banned, and trying to get them removed so he can't have anything anymore. That's fucking malicious and a psychopath. Whoever, if you're doing that, you're the worst kind of person. And this kid posts this video of him crying, and I get that might have been kind of placating towards his audience, but like he's crying. He goes, I'm not a normal kid. This is the only thing I have. Like, just let me just live. Like, let me exist. And he's like you know bubbling up through the video and whatnot. And I kind of want to be like his parents, like kind of going in closer with him with the phone. I'm like, all right, what are you doing here? Like, give the kid a hug. Don't put a camera in front of the face. But like, at the end of the day, like, it is true. All he wanted to do was just be funny, have fun with his parents, have fun for us. And people with kids with those kinds of diseases, they're not going to live terribly long, and if they do, it's a goddamn miracle. So it's like, just let him live this life that he has. And a lot of, I don't know, it just bugged me a lot, and it made me tear up a little bit. So I commented on his video and I said, dude, live life, fucking have fun, baby, let's go. And gave him a follow, slapped some likes on his videos, and called her good. But I mean, that's as much as I can do at this point. But
Oh, it's life when you have shit like that too, like life's fucking hard enough already, man. Like, and if you got some sort of fucking disease and shit, I've been seeing a lot of Tourette's posts lately, which is kind of weird. Like, I mean, I have fucking Tourette's, not super bad, but like I have it. But I see there's people on Instagram that like all the goofy shit that like I laugh at it too, right? And it's kind of funny in the right con. People yell and scream and they yell funny shit sometimes, and sometimes these people lean into that a little bit, but it's fucking hard, man. Like everyone thinks you're faking diseases, or everyone thinks that like, oh, it's not so bad, or everyone just kind of maybe thinks, fuck you, I'm gonna get rid of your account for some fucking reason, and it just there's no fucking reason for it, man. Like I think honestly, the bottom line, like if there's any like thing that I live by, it's just don't be a dick. Like just don't be a dick. I think that means the same thing for everyone. Like everyone knows when they're being a dick. Just don't do it.
I don't know, man.
If you fucking pause for a second and you're like, is this dickish behavior? And the answer is yes, then the flowchart goes to fucking stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop cooking. No more cooking. I'm all for letting people cook, but at that point you're done cooking. You're out. You get to fucking make yourself a peanut butter sandwich and get the fuck out of here and let the people that aren't dicks cook us a nice fucking steak dinner. I'm really hungry. I did my yearly McDonald's run before this, and it was not enough food. Uh, McDonald's fries are goated, by the way. But yeah, don't cook. If you think you're being a dick, stop it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's the lesson for this whole fucking podcast.
And you're being a dick by voting Republican.
Honestly, yeah, you kind of are. So if you're gonna go fill in that bubble, just pause. Just people would be like, hey, like when you get mad, like just stop and like count to 10. Like just do that. But for like everything you fucking do until you're confident that you're not just being a dick.
Yeah.
10 is even that high. If you can't count that high, count to like 5. Which if you voted Trump last time, you probably can't count that high.
I'm too cynical at this point to think that people don't want to be dicks. Like I feel like
sure
that is so many people these days. That is their fucking mission statement. That is their reason for being, is to be a fucking asshole in someone else's life. If
that's
they
what I'm
pissed you
saying.
off,
Like, but
they
they
can
know
go
it.
home happy.
They know they're doing it. That's the thing. That's why my flowchart works. They know they're doing it. And for them, and for those people, if you disobey the flowchart, you get a taste of the McFindouts.
I'm the only one that gets that.
Yeah, we got Eric, you'll have to post it to the Instagram. The fucking McFindouts for when you've McFucking had it. I think that's why I went to McDonald's today, honestly. I mean, it was convenient, but I was like, I don't know, man. I think I want to McFind out if my stomach can handle this shit anymore.
For those that don't know what Zach is talking about, he sent a meme of the golden arches as a fucking brass knuckle. Or whatever the fuck they're called. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, you wear the golden arches. Yeah, it's like a brass knuckle thing.
They're called the Mick Findouts.
It's good. They're pretty good. I think I should have my buddy 3D print me one.
Yeah, but then it'll break. You gotta machine
I don't want to. I mean, I don't plan to use. Do you have a fucking CNC machine?
I have a mill. It'll just take longer. I don't have it. I could do it at work. I could.
Hey, Rick, what are you making over there? Some McFindouts.
Don't fucking worry about it. It's a new part I'm working on.
Why did you order a bunch of gold metal? Gold-plated fucking steel. The fuck is that about? Don't worry about it. It's a new part. I need it for something.
It's conductive. Business. Fuck off.
Yes. Put some electricity through this motherfucker. By electricity, I mean my fists.
I just want to shout out the gentleman I was referring to here. So his name is Kevin Gabor and Gabber, and it's a little boy with osteogenesis imperfecta, or OI, or better known as brittle bone disease. So he is the gentleman that found himself the target of internet trolls on TikTok. So
what are you going to make fun of him about, you fucks? What the fuck are you going to make fun of a guy who can't fucking go down a set of stairs without risking a fucking broken leg? Why the fuck would you make fun of somebody like that? That's like punching a kid in a wheelchair. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It literally is, yeah.
It's like walking up to a fucking kid, like a paraplegic in a goddamn wheelchair, and fucking shooting him right in the fucking head. What? You feel better about yourself, you piece of shit?
Punching down is easy. I've never been made fun of by someone who's doing better than me. Straight up. Like no one who's doing better than me has given me shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that is what it is, man. I don't know. I think honestly, go on that fucking kid's account. If you see someone being like all of his shit, and if you find someone being an asshole, go into that asshole's account and start going to fucking pound town on that motherfucker. Like, just be like, that's the one time I'm okay with being malicious is pointing out like going on some dude's account, and be like, let's get into it now. Like, because they will not handle that shit. They'll probably block you. I get blocked on Instagram. I got blocked on Instagram like 2 days ago for not even being a dick. I just said something that made sense, and they blocked me immediately, which is pretty funny. Yeah, that's a funny story.
You
That's a funny story. So
you gave me
someone
cognitive
was
dissonance
basically
block.
saying, well, literally, so they basically commented on a video. There's this dude who's been very popular on Instagram as some sort of like one of those stupid like success influencer, like real estate. I don't know. He's fucking stupid, whatever. And he was saying, I don't get sick because I don't believe in getting sick, blah, 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 blah. And he
Fuck
goes on his
you.
little explains why. Yeah, no, it was very stupid. And so someone in the comments was like, and of course, like the video I saw was of someone going like, "Oh, really? That's how that works, huh?" And someone commented like, "Well, we do have like you can kind of trick your body, and your body does sort of take orders from your brain, blah 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 blah." So all I said, like I think this is word for word, was she was like, "Oh, like you can basically tell your body not to do that, right?" And I was like, "I've been telling my body for years not to be type 1 diabetic, but I'm still diabetic. Please advise." That was it. Blocked immediately. Immediately fucking blocked. I was like,
Like Instagram blocked, like they
no,
banned you
like
for a little bit.
she blocked me on Instagram. I
Oh,
don't think
gotcha,
she
gotcha.
reported me, but she blocked me on Instagram right away.
Because you can't refute
You
it.
can't.
Like
You don't
it's just,
comport to my worldview, so I need to get rid of you.
Oh
I
yeah,
will say,
yeah.
I
I
will
just
say
can't handle the vibes are off. Bro, I'm positive vibes. I know I don't feel like it. I give good vibes to a lot of motherfuckers. You just got to not be stupid. Fucking
so I'm
It's a
not
big
I'm not
ask.
gonna lie to you. A lot of my liberal friends on the old
Oh
Facebook
shit! Here we
lot
tend
go.
to do that
liberal
a lot.
sissies.
Liberal sissy.
There it is.
um, a lot of my liberal friends, when they see like a tuft of Donald Trump's hair, and again, I'm more liberal than not, so this is more of like a just kind of a self-awareness check. They will literally, and I get it to a point, but to your guys' point as well, if you can't handle something, don't just censor it. Don't say, if you don't agree with everything I'm saying, unfriend me, or I'm done seeing that shit. And definitely Republicans do, but I do see way more from the nasty liberals. So I see them on Facebook. They're very much like, if you don't believe in this, unfriend me and whatnot. And I think that's kind of a coward's way of saying I don't want to fight about this, but this is my view on everything. I'm just like, dude, come on, like don't. I don't know how to fucking put an
No,
analogy together right now, but
I would agree with that. To a point. That's the thing with me though, is I'm always interested in having a good faith discussion on my ideas. And if you bring up solid enough points, I'll change my fucking mind. I've preached this on the podcast before to our fucking 3 listeners. If like
7,
that,
I think.
we need to get rid of that fucking stigma, that social fucking thing that you have to double down on your bad fucking idea rather than change your mind when good evidence comes up. Right? Like that's all that needs to happen. That's all that should be required to change someone's mind. And you got all these fuckers, like convincing these fuckers that going after a kid with a disease is a bad
kid.
idea. Like it's not a good thing to do. It shouldn't be hard to refute that, and here we fucking are. It shouldn't ever get to that point. But it's like that's all that should be required.
yeah, any reasonable person should be able to be like, hey, I have this idea. It's a personal thing to me. Let's say like religion, and I'm going to post this on my social media account, and then some other people with opposing views start commenting on it, and then there's a discussion, right? And you know what? Fuck it. Let's not use religion because that's a tough one. But like, let's say it's a it's a theory of some sorts or whatever, and people are disputing it in the comments, which religion kind of is. But so you put it in the comments, people are disputing it, and if you come to a conclusion, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to see it from the other side and be like, okay, you presented facts that I wasn't aware of, and you know, I'm going to take some time on this. So you don't necessarily have to delete your thing because people can learn from it, and you can admit defeat sometimes because overall it's probably a good thing. Now you know more going forward, and the person that presented the information shouldn't be a dick about it. Like you said, Rick, like it should warrant a discussion. It should be like, okay, let's hear what you have to say. Now I'm going to make an educated decision based on what you said and what I already had preconceived before this conversation.
Maybe truck nuts aren't the fashion statement you thought they were.
That's fuck you. Don't even talk to me anymore. I'm kicking you off Eric's podcast for that. Fucking heinous. Anyway, I'm blocking you on every social media now. But like, no, so I actually,
yeah.
I had a discussion. I have something that ties in here. So, I'll give the long, the not as boring. I'll give the long version. No, I'll give the less boring version.
Long dick style.
Long dick style. So I'm friends with this guy. It's the same guy. From those who have listened, longtime listeners will know from I think our last podcast, I was talking about the sumo deadlift. We had this. I used that as an example in a previous discussion. This guy thought blah 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 blah, and I brought up the fact that, well, I've been powerlifting longer than you because you never have done it, and I've been in the gym longer than you, and you need a lot of evidence to change my mind. This same guy posted a meme. I'm trying to shorten this as much as I can, but there's a lot of fun details. Posted a meme about basically the idea behind the meme was there are some people that believe that your hip mobility limits or can affect your shoulder mobility. So on its face, that sounds really fucking dumb, right?
Okay.
So I went and I trained at the gym that my PT owns. I went and trained at that gym, and I said, "Hey Jake, shout out Ascension. Those guys fucking rock." So I was like, "Hey Jake, does this make any sense?" Right? So I'll come at things with a gentle curiosity because, like, everything I know says that is not true. Everything I know and have experienced, I don't care what position my hips are in, my shoulder does this within a half a fucking degree. Like, I don't care. I can sit and I can be doing salsa dances and fucking whatever else. It doesn't matter. And he goes, yeah. So some guy, there's another PT, another big like influencer PT guy, who posted that meme, which was shared then by my buddy without credit. So I thought it was an original thing. No, he just stole the meme, didn't give credit. Give credit for your memes. If you steal a fucking meme, give people credit. Come on. But he was like, yeah, a lot of people believe that it can, but it's pretty easy to debunk, and there's no research for it. Whatever. Uh, but kind of my main point is like what Jake said, because I told him, I was like, yeah, like I kind of wanted to debate him on it, but I've tried to debate him on certain things before, and it just absolutely it didn't work, right? Like I went at it with, hey, you know here's three meta analyses comprised of 25 different studies and 800,000 participants, and he just kind of waved them off,
Yeah, his eyes glazed
waved them off
over.
within minutes. Yeah, well, I'm like, no, like he never clicks on the read full text on these fucking things, and I know it for a fact. Because I've called him out on a couple of things where they're in the full text of the study, where I just highlight, like I copy and paste it in my comments. I'm like, hey, but here I think you missed this, and I copy and paste a little quote from it into the thing, and then he's pulled down a couple of posts because I was like, oh yeah, I missed that. I'm like, yeah, because you read the abstract at best. Don't read the abstract on your studies. Read the fucking full thing. God damn it. Take 2 goddamn minutes, especially if you're supposed to be an expert. But what Jake said was, he's like, everyone kind of has to understand whether, like, no matter what space you're in, or whether you're a professional or an expert or not, or whatever, is when you post something on social media, you are now open to both sides of the argument coming at you.
Right.
Or you're open to positive and negative reactions, or however it is, right? And it's the same thing, like with us posting this up, there's going to be people that are going to laugh and love this shit, and there are probably going to be people at some point that are going to send like just the most brutal hate mail. If you send hate mail, I'll read it live and laugh at you. I don't fucking care. I don't care about anything you have to say. Fuck you in advance.
Podcastagainstgreen@gmail.com.
Boom. Send us hate mail or love mail. Send us dick pics. We'll rate them live on air. But it's like it's just a thing where, like, I mean, and I don't want to discuss the ins and outs of this because I don't understand enough, but I ultimately have had to unfollow different people because of their room temp IQ takes on like the Israel and Palestine situation, or their not openness to discussing the ins and outs of it, and things like that. Uh, so there is a time and a place to kind of unfollow and get rid of that negativity, but it's like I think if it's just raw negativity, get rid of it. If they're not open to a discussion, I think it's okay to get rid of it there. But if someone comes at you with a, "Hey, I don't really think that's correct," or "Hey, maybe you haven't considered this or whatever," dude, just let them in. Like, just have the conversation. It, you know, it's the same thing that's happened for decades, dude. It's the same thing like as when you go out with your buddies and you discuss whether like the Vikings suck or the Packers suck. It's the same thing, except yeah, you're probably arguing about deeper things than than American football. But I don't know, man. Like, come on, just go, like, hang out and be nice and don't be a fucking dick and just have a conversation. Everyone gets better that way. Everyone wins when you
Oh,
have a conversation. Maybe no one changes their mind. Nobody has to, in a lot of situations. Unless you're being a dick to a kid, then change your mind.
so the thing I wanted to say about what you said about especially posting it on a public forum. Um, the people that tend to do that and tend to have a hard time, I would argue almost fucking impossible. It's impossible to change their minds. Are the same people that argue for the invisible hand of the free market, but like this is the free market of ideas, right? Like criticism encourages you. If you can't poke a hole in my idea, that means it was a legitimately good idea. I want people to fucking poke holes in my ideas. That makes them better. That makes me account for things I didn't account for before. Like that's why we're trudging through the shit right now, is because nobody's willing to do that. Like, my idea is good and I'm going to shove my fucking head in the sand and never fucking take any criticism because I'm scared of it, because I need to be perceived as a fucking alpha or whatever the fuck. I'm always right and blah blah blah. Fuck you. You're not always right. You're rarely right, in fact. Most of us are rarely right. Get the fuck over it. Put on your big boy pants and fucking accept that fact, because that's a fucking fact. Nobody knows how the world works. You should be willing to take criticism because you don't know everything.
So I could put it in a sports metaphor too, is like it's kind of a thing where a lot of people like a team or a race car driver or whatever, like the first championship that someone earns or the first title or whatever, whatever that pinnacle is for your particular sport. A lot of people are like, yes, that's a good accomplishment, right? Like that's fucking huge to earn that. But a lot of people kind of take this stance of like, well, you got to do it again. Like you have to prove it. You don't become a champion by earning that first championship. You become a champion by defending that championship, right? So, Lewis Hamilton winning his first, that's one thing. Him winning six more proves that he is one of the greatest of all time,
It
right? Tom
wasn't a
Brady
fluke.
earning his first one, right? Exactly. Like Tom Brady's first one, no, he did it six more times. Jordan, three-peat, all that time. So, but if you can do that, it's one thing to have an idea, right? Anyone can have one. You have that brain up there, right? You got brain cells, you got electricity bouncing around. And I tell you what, man, last night I had a dream that I was in fucking Norway and I wasn't. So it isn't always correct. Like sometimes there just be shit going on in there and it doesn't make any fucking sense. So
It only runs on 11
defend
watts
it.
after all.
Yeah, right? It only runs on a fucking one hamster. I got one hamster power in there. So watch out, boys. But yeah, I don't know. You got to defend it. You got to defend, and if you can't defend your idea, then you maybe don't
And
even understand
if
your
if
idea
you if
fully.
you
You know what I
can't
mean?
defend your idea, you should let it die and be okay with it. That means you have a better idea. You shouldn't defend a bad idea. I don't know. I don't know what else there's to
Yeah.
say about that. If you can't defend it, you should be okay with letting it fucking die and accepting the more legitimate fucking argument, because that makes your worldview better overall. It makes it more accurate. I don't want to say better, because the world is shitty. It's not necessarily better, but it
Very
is
subjective.
more realistic. It's more accurate in defining reality for all of us, and it's not fucking some alternative fact bullshit.
And like I said before too, like if you, like you guys said, if you can't defend something that you put out there, and it's personal, right? Because typically it has something to do with like how you feel. It tugs on the heartstrings, possibly. That doesn't necessarily mean you're an idiot or you made a terrible, egregious mistake. Like, just like you guys said, maybe go back home, take a minute, take the facts, the argument that was presented to you that made you feel this way, and just look at it again.
Objectively.
And then ultimately, if you come up to the same conclusion, confer with other people that have similar conclusions, and then talk about it. Engage it, grow the conversation. Maybe it's bigger than you. Maybe it's bigger than what your brain, and that's okay, can handle. I can't handle half the shit either. I usually defer to Rick if I want some education. So that's exactly what I do.
I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit I'm fucking stupid.
So am
I'm
I.
fucking
Eric, you shouldn't trust me either, but I appreciate the shout out.
Well, what do you do? But yeah, so overall, I think so. This podcast encompassed angst, fucking other stuff probably, but also a good point. It's okay to be wrong sometimes, and if you're wrong, you don't necessarily have to admit it in public, but go back home and reflect. And don't be a dick. No, this world has enough dicks in it. All right, just fucking be a nice person. If you wanna rely on religion to help you not be a dick, then by all means do it. But just at the end of the day, don't beat up on a kid that's trying to live their life. They don't understand the ins and outs of social media. They're not necessarily aware that you have to fucking be ready for the negative feedback that you're gonna get. And if you're gonna be a dick to that kid, send it to us instead, and we'll read it, and then we'll dox you because that's what we'll do.
Also, send me your address. We're gonna go full Jay and Silent Bob. Just send me your address, and I'll hop on a plane. We can talk. I don't care if I'm smaller than you. I'll bring the McFind out.
Well, but that's the thing too. Like, if you're gonna take these extreme stances, you better damn well be able to defend them. And if you can't, why the fuck are you taking them? What are you doing?
For example, Kirako's Grizzly is the pinnacle of mankind. Look him up. Find him on Instagram. He's the pinnacle of mankind. Malord doesn't miss. That's all I'm saying.
Shout out to the Graham, sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah, shout out Instagram, please, Mark Zuckerberg. Kiss me on
Fuck
the
Mark
mouth.
Zuckerberg.
No, he looks
Your
like an
lizard,
alien.
Your lizard lips. Dude, he is
Fucking
an alien.
skinwalker. Look at us being dicks. Don't be a dick to the guy that looks like a baby. All right. Hey, we'll see you next time. This has been Brain Void. Any other final words from you guys?
Safe drive.
Like, rate, subscribe. Don't be a dick. Send us hate mail.
Oxymoron message. Don't be a dick unless it's to us.
See you guys later.